It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists in a piercer answer some of the more common questions that those that collect tattoos and piercings may have. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo and the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. Today what we're going to talk about is bartering and haggling over the price or getting a tattoo or piercing. But let's talk about the panel. First off, over there on my right is Jimmy St. John, tattoo artist at Skin Kitchen. Here petting the fur ball is Jack Lowe, tattoo artist and owner of the Skin Kitchen. I'm DaVo. I own and operate the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. I do body piercing. And then we have Brent Starr over here. He does the tattooing there at the Skin Kitchen too. So on this one, basically, who wants to start this out?
I mean, bartering. I mean, it says it right there. We already did it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I did an anchor on a girl's ankle for this thing.
When I was, when I worked in the different shops back in Virginia, when I owned some shops, I would, on my days off, sometimes I had friends and stuff that would want to barter or whatever, and I would do that with them, but it was, always something tangible, a trip, a car, a motorcycle, or, anything that you might be in need of or want. As far as during business hours, not a chance in hell.
Yeah.
It's not the place or time for it.
Yeah, typically, I've done it in the past, and it's typically with a client that I've tattooed for a while and kind of know them a little bit beyond just coming into the shop. And it's usually skill type stuff, doing some work at the house, is, maybe cement or putting in, shrubbery or two, something like that.
Yeah.
It's very, very rare that I've traded for any, a thing.
No gypsies or, with the, livestock or anything like that.
No,
Chickens.
I'm not
Not yet.
saying I wouldn't. I'm trying to think if I really. I did one time. A good friend of mine. I traded some time for a set of wheels he had for a vehicle I had at the time, but as a kind of an ongoing normal thing,
No, it's very rare.
It's really not, it doesn't come up, I guess, a lot with me, although it did come up just last week or a week before, because I have to buy vehicles that don't run. It's like a thing with me. So a guy was talking about, again, getting rid of his Jeep.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh, well, you should just finish out that arm. What kind of Jeep is it? Before I even knew what it was. But, but typically it doesn't.
I've done it a couple times.
I've done it, but it doesn't really come up
Right.
too much.
It doesn't come up very often unless, like I said, you've worked on the person quite a bit and you've developed a relationship and you know each other.
Yeah.
I've gotten a nice guitar, electric guitar from my dad. I got myself a drum set. And then, for services, I've gotten my car worked on when I couldn't afford it, traded out for that or something. But, yeah, it's not very often.
See, with me, it was always something I didn't want. I'd have people come in with car radios with the thing hanging out of the back of it, or a VCR that you didn't know where it'd come from, or video camera. I've had people offer me, of course, narcotics of some sort. I've had people offer me a little bit of their time, if you don't want to name.
Sexual relations, are you speaking of?
And I've always had the attitude of, and it was always even the stuff I wanted, it was always just slightly below the level of exactly what I wanted. And it's why don't you just pay me what you're supposed to pay me, and I could go get what I want, not this kind of thing. And a lot of the, I'll gladly pay you for the tattoo tomorrow, for a tattoo today, kind of stuff. And it's I'll do this tile work for you. And it's well, how about you do the tile work, then we'll do the piercing. Yeah,
and which that could, that could work out too. I think that's why normally I've traded for services, and normally it's someone that I know, so I know that they're going to carry through.
Yeah, a relationship.
And if they if there's any doubt in my mind that they wouldn't, then I just wouldn't take the deal.
Yeah.
And if it's an object, usually we meet up, I check it out, make sure it's something I even want, and then the day they're going to get worked on, they bring it and we exchange.
If it's like
service and service.
big.
Yeah, if it's like an electric guitar, like I got my dad a nice electric guitar one time.
Yeah.
It was a Fender that I would have never been able to buy.
Yeah.
And I got it on a trade for like a sleeve, a tattoo sleeve.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wanted to get my dad something cool for Christmas, and boom, it worked out. So, you know, I love tattooing. He got a cool guitar, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold is cool.
Yeah, gold's good.
I like coins.
Yeah.
Basically, you know.
The problem
Airplanes.
is I don't have any way to tell what it's worth.
I
With
like
a coin,
airplanes.
there's trillions of coins, and just one little tiny letter somewhere or a scratch on
Yeah,
it can
no
really
doubt about 'em.
change it a
And
lot.
then
but-
you're the thing with stuff like that, collectibles, because we all have our own little
yeah, niches.
niches of collectibles. You got to find somebody that's willing to pay that much for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It might be worth that much to you, but
That
is
was the
it,
thing about like sports cards, like, you know,
Yeah.
baseball cards and stuff. Like, this is Mickey Mantle. It's worth like $20,000. Like, only if you find somebody that's worth $20,000 to.
yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
and there's
I'm not paying you $20,000 for a piece of cardboard, but
And I think that yeah, there has to be a market for something to really make it worth anything. It's worth, as they say, it's worth what somebody will pay for it.
right.
So yeah, there's those things like baseball cards. It's a piece of cardboard with a stencil on it.
Yeah.
And so to me, that doesn't really hold any value. Now, if it was a piece of paper with a picture of my father getting the Nobel Peace Prize for curing cancer, and there was only a couple of them, that's a piece of paper that is going to mean something. So yeah, it's whatever you're passionate about. You know, you're really paying for that passion. Like tattoo machines. I've paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars for tattoo machines, and somebody else would look at it and go, "Did you get that out of the junk drawer?"
Right.
Really?
No, so and so
Yeah.
built this from like 1920 something, like that they've never heard of, but to you it's it's big.
It's priceless.
So yeah, that's the thing. Like you got to find the artist that's kind of passionate or just can't help himself when it comes to that type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you probably you might be able to, if you have a relationship with that artist, then you might be able to do some bartering or trading of service or
Absolutely.
something.
I mean, the
like
biggest
that.
thing is don't show up at the door with
No.
something that at a shop that you've never ever been in.
No, it's not a pawn shop, it's a
Yeah.
tattoo shop.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think you're less likely to have a positive outcome wanting to trade something if you just walk in unknown to a shop.
Yeah.
Depending, I guess, it really just kind of depends. I'm trying to picture it
I
in
mean,
my
if
head.
you were a
And
stranger and you showed up with a really nice airplane you wanted to trade us for, I mean, hell,
Right.
we can talk.
yeah,
We can talk.
I guess it would
know,
kind of depend on if they, were wearing pants.
Yeah. That helps.
And,
Yeah, hygiene a little bit. They can talk. without the
Right.
tinfoil hat.
Have older teeth.
Yeah, maybe
You know.
that might help. And then it being something that I want.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I'm a sucker for, well, I've got this one here for $150, but I can order one on Amazon for $80. I'm probably going to drop $150 because I want it right now. It's right there, you know.
I'm bad about that too.
Yeah,
Gratification.
and it's just, I don't know if it wasn't that I wasn't really taught, how to use money, not in school, not by my parents. My parents were paycheck to paycheck type people when I was growing up. So they were the last person that were going to teach me how to save and how to, do all that stuff. So maybe it's part of that I really value. Well, that has a purpose. That has a value. I can use that to hit somebody over the head, or I can use it to start my car, or I can use it to put on my feet. Money is completely worthless. It's only worth something because I can have that with it.
Yeah.
I had a class like that in school. One year it was like where they teach you how to do your checkbook and budget and blah 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 and all that stuff. It was like
Econ?
it was like econ, but they called it something else. But my father is super good at like managing money and all that stuff. So I mean, it really doesn't matter if they teach it to you or not, because like I got taught it and I'm horrible with it.
Yeah.
Like, I am horrible at it.
Yeah.
But it's each individual. You can go to college for 20 years and still not learn what the hell you went to college for.
It comes down to priorities.
Yeah.
To me, it's always been. If I remember, there was a long period of time when I was traveling to go see shows, and it was always just a big investment to get there in the first place. Then tickets, and then you'd be down to, that decision between buying the merch or eating.
Yeah.
And time again, I'd pick the eating part. not surprising. And of course, the other person would get all the merch, and then they'd be the one like, "Oh, can I borrow $5?" Anyway,
Nope.
But over the years, it's just like, why didn't I just buy that?
Well, that's when you capitalize on that
it's not going to
merchandise.
go up in value, and I'll probably never see it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of got the same way with records, and there's if it's not, some people need that security. I think some people need that money in the bank. It's like their bragging rights,
I guess.
or their security.
Maybe they see their worth
Maybe.
for how much they're worth monetarily, not their worth in other ways.
Yeah. But if there's something I need or something I'm going to use, I'd rather spend the money on it.
But see, you missed your opportunity there. You missed it a little bit ago. When you go and bought food, you still went like McDonald's and got a bag of cheeseburgers for $1 a piece. And then when all your friends spend all their money on merchant, they're like, "Can I have a burger?" You're like, "I'll trade you a burger for a shirt." So
There you
now I got
go.
some merch and food.
Yeah,
boy.
but they were always they were. It was usually one or two different people. Both of them were larges. And I was
Wait till they
so-
starve. You know what I mean? But then
They were larges.
Oh.
So it would have fit
you
me
weren't-
like one of those.
But see, if you weren't
grilled
eating as much
teas from
food,
the
you would have been smaller,
1980s.
so it would have fit.
Ah,
There
boom.
you go.
Booyah.
Who knows?
Two
Diet.
birds, one stone.
Merch and food, all in one swipe.
Have you ever traded anything, Brent?
Yeah, I mean, just for, just random kind of knick-knacky kind of stuff. I mean, I've traded for some coins, some hobo nickels, actually. Those were kind of cool. How much they were worth, I don't know. But I thought they were pretty cool at the time. So I was just like, okay, yeah, sure. I mean, we can knock off, how's, $100 sound on the tattoo? Okay, cool. Did I get had? Probably, I don't know.
Only if you expected them to be worth anything. If you did it because you liked them,
I liked
then
them,
you
so
won.
they were worth that to me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But not very often. I mean, and that was somebody that was regular at the shop, that just, kind of came in on the frequent and kind of got to know what I liked or what I was into. And
Yeah, that's usually how it happens. There's a conversation, you have something in common, you both are into bow hunting or something, and you start talking about bows, and the guy's like, well, man, I've got my whatever bow that I don't use anymore, and maybe the artist goes, well, hell, I'll give you a couple hours on this piece for it.
Yeah.
It usually kind of happens, usually with me anyway.
Or
Me too.
Totally.
Yeah, it just kind of happens as conversation goes, not as the relationship starts.
Yeah, not just so much random person off the street like, hey, walking around with a compound bow like, hey, I'm trying to get rid of this.
Older, even anybody walking.
I thought
one of
maybe
those.
I should have a tattoo. And so, hey,
What do you
here we
think?
are.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
very true.
The other side of that you were talking about that was haggling, like that I will not
Haggling.
do.
Yeah, I'm just going to move on to that.
It's not buying a car. It's, this is what I charge. This is how long it's going to take me to do it. Rough estimate. So you're looking around this area, give or take. That's what I'll do it for. No ifs, ands, or buts. If you want to do it, cool. If you don't, cool. But, I'm not doing a $200 tattoo, and then when it comes time to pay, you go, well, how about like $100, $150?
Oh,
Like,
God, no.
Absolutely not.
I think back in the day,
I was going to say, I think
it
I think people were trained to do that. They
kinda.
thought.
For some stuff.
It's kind of like they were at the pawn shop.
Right.
know?
Well, and I think it's probably the fault, if there's a fault, to the artist. They're in there. No one's coming in a while. They didn't pay $100 for it and have to sell it for 110. They're going to make it on the spot. They're not doing anything anyway. Nope. So they're thinking, well, shit, I can get $60 instead of 100, and at least I got $60.
Right.
And then that people started, that kind of got around that, so it kind of, you would have those people. I had those people, in the past years. I haven't had that happen in a long time. Thank God. But that kind of film, I think, took a while to kind of wear off to where now people are offering us more money to get in sooner,
Right.
rather than, well, I'm not giving you that much. Well, I don't care. I couldn't tattoo you this year anyway.
Yeah.
They have no ground to stand on anymore because the popularity of tattoos has grown so much that anybody really worth going to, for the most part, can't get to you anyway.
Yeah.
So there's
for
really
some
no
time.
ground to stand on.
Right.
And I think that it's probably going to go like everything else of this that is gone, that works in, service industry or what have you, of priority fees and et cetera eventually.
What am I hearing?
You're hearing my answering machine.
Yeah.
That's your fault.
Yeah.
Good. At least it's not mine.
I don't
Sweet.
think the last time it happened, it didn't come up on the mic. The
No?
last time.
I can hear it over
Yeah,
my headphones, so
I
I
know.
know it's coming
Yeah.
through.
That's somebody leaving a really long message.
If-
10 to 1, it's a salesperson, too.
Oh yeah. Hey, this
Something
is
you can't live without.
This is so-and-so.
This is so and so from Google. You haven't given us nearly enough money this year. We see now in the first 2 months of the year, you've only given us about $70,000. So we're going to offer you a service that you won't need and we won't support whatsoever, and it'll do nothing for you. So we can try to get a little more money.
Well, see, the
There's
best
that
part about
barter
that is
system.
none of those companies actually work for Google.
Right.
They're Google certified. They
Yeah.
claim.
Ah.
It's a scam.
Or it's
Yeah.
like the insurance they call you. You know, the insurance on your 1942 Edsel
Yeah.
is about to run out.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
We've been trying to
Yeah,
reach
it's,
you.
it's
Like,
phishing.
I know.
that's why I don't answer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah.
That's why you haven't reached me.
I don't
been
need a warranty
ignored.
on my $500 car. Thank you.
Just like I would ignore you if you came in and started trying to drive my price down.
Yeah. hack
So,
it.
so what kind of? So if someone came in, what kind of thing would you
Magic.
Would you consider it now going on, or and if you would, what would it be? What would it take? Like,
No, the last time I personally had to deal with it, thank goodness, was back in the street shop days. And like you were saying, you know, you've sat around all day, you haven't done anything. Somebody comes in and like they want $100 Eagle, but you're like, well, you know, I'll bump it down like 10, 15%, make it just a touch smaller that you really can't even notice, and I'll do it for $80 for you.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
a good
instead
point.
of the $100 and kind of work with them.
that
you know?
that's that's a
And
good
that's
point. I forgot
usually
all
what'll
about
happen.
that.
I used to do that a lot back in the street shop days. But being here, like in the way our studio is set up, we have a consult. We give you a time frame, like, you know,
An
1
estimated
to 8
time.
hours. It's going to take us to do the piece or whatever, you know, you were asking for. And then this is our base price for an hour. So you take that times these many hours, and that's roughly what you're looking at doing.
Yeah.
If I finish faster, it's a little cheaper. If
Yeah.
I go over, it costs a little bit more. But,
Yep.
you know, either way, I'm not pressured to turn something out because, like, I only charge this guy $80. Like, there's another guy coming in. I got to hurry up
And
because I
that's-
got to get to somebody else. Or
And that's what I tell people that have any kind of questions about it is, you know, I could estimate $500 that this tattoo is going to take. And then when I get into it, it goes way faster than I thought. And I just kind of screwed you,
Yeah.
you know, because I priced it for the amount of time I thought it was going to take and how difficult it was going to be to do. It wasn't at all.
Right.
But you're still paying me as if it was. And other way around, if I said $500 and now this tattoo is way tougher, taking way longer, you're sitting like crap, so you're making it take, you know, well, then I got screwed. So once I hit that $500 mark in my head, I'm thinking, this is free now. You know, you're not paying for any of this time. So it's hard for most artists to still put in their best work for free, especially on top of the fact that it's probably something going on the client's end that's making it take longer.
Right.
They're moving around. They keep changing their mind. They want it bigger now. They, you know,
Right.
whatever it is, now the artist is getting screwed. You pay hourly, nobody gets screwed.
nope.
You know,
always get the best work that they can do.
especially if, well, how long do you think this is going to take? I give a worst case, best case scenario usually. Well, best case scenario, you sit still, your skin's awesome, everything's going great, probably 3 hours. Worst case, you're moving around, I got to chase you around, you know, you're peeing every 10 minutes, your skin's a pain in the butt, 5 hours. You're probably going to be between 3 and 4, but it could take that long. So then they're not surprised when, you know, it took 4.5 hours.
Right.
And you said, man, this is going to take 3. So if they've acknowledged that sounds like a fair deal, boom, then there's no stress on me that I've got to get this done within this certain range so I don't get screwed. And I'm going to give the absolute best work I can do to that person because I know that I'm being compensated for the time I put in. Yeah. So, you know, it really works out in the long run best for the client and for the artist because they're getting compensated to do their absolute best and not just hurry up because they're going to get that much money no matter what.
Exactly.
No, see, since I've been here in this shop, I have offered to do a different style of tattoo, like a little bit more not American traditional, but something that's more just lines,
Straightforward.
More illustrative rather than kind of more realistic. Just because the client wanted to, well, what can $150 get me? Well, that's going to get you an hour tattoo.
Yeah,
and I can do an eagle in an hour, but it's not going to be that big, and it's going to be kind of simplified.
Yeah,
and I've had to do that here, which I don't know if that kind of falls in that line of
that's different because that's a person establishing a budget for you.
You're trying
and working it
to help them
through,
right,
and trying to give them what they want, and still be satisfied, and happy with that as an artist,
right.
Well.
And in the past, that reminded me. In the past, I would they'd want a larger tattoo than they could really afford, so they're trying to kind of wiggle the way around it. I'll say, well, why don't we just do the outline?
Mm-hmm.
That'll even leave you a little money in your pocket to kind of get started when you come in, to get it colored or finished up.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Absolutely.
Yep.
We can chop it up to make it fit your paycheck.
Yeah,
how much you have to play with each 2 weeks or whatever.
For sure.
And then at the end of the day, you've got that piece you wanted, not a kind of cheaped down. You're not really going to be that happy with it, wishing it was something better piece.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Right.
Yeah.
And see, that's why we have so many multiple types of jewelry you can choose for a piercing. There's some people that can spend they have an unlimited amount they can spend, and there's other people that they have a budget.
Yeah.
There's just so much they can spend. And the key, I think, is figuring that out and not, but to come in and try to talk me out of like, oh, was it that much? That just drives me absolutely mad.
Because
it's like, okay, well, I've already spent 15 minutes of my time with you. I'm not going to tell you what I normally make hourly when I'm not sitting here just talking to you.
Right.
Because I know that balances out in the long run. But now you're trying to beat me up over what I think is a reasonable price for my time, energy, effort in the supplies I'm using, in the materials I'm using.
Yeah, it's really it can come off as really disrespectful to an artist when you start questioning their prices.
Yeah.
We didn't drag you in here.
No.
And the price is the price,
Yeah, and you don't really want to do that to your plumber or your,
your
person
brain surgeon,
working on your car. Yeah, your brain surgeon.
And the reason it is that price mostly is for how long and the experience it took me to get to be able to do this on you.
Your investment.
Yeah, you're paying me hourly for the work I do, but that hourly price is set because of the work I do.
Right.
And the work I do is because I've been doing it for almost 30 years of my life. Now, you can go to another place and you can get a less expensive tattoo, but you're going to get a different tattoo.
Yeah. When I worked in a street shop, that happened a lot. Like they had gotten where they were so cutthroat in the area we were at that the shops had set like a base price to do like the basic thing you can get, like a name, like a 5-letter name, single line script, like no double line, no shading, no nothing, was like $40 or whatever. And then for like, $60 you could do double line and shaded and drop shadow, blah, blah.
Right.
So we would do these. And I would always like draw the regular single up and then like, this is what's that price. And then I would draw the nice one up and, drop shadow and all that stuff. And I go, or you could do this for like this much more money. It's your choice, whatever you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And they would always buy the bigger one.
Yeah.
And I would do it. And because I've been tattooing for 20-something years, I'd do it like in 10 minutes. And they're like, well, what do I got to pay so much? I'm like, because of the experience that it took me to get to where I can do these in 10 minutes instead of taking me 4 hours to do it.
But that's what but you say that's why it costs that much. Because I could do it. Because I could do it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Would you rather get the same exact tattoo, but it took 2 hours?
Less discomfort. Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Because that's the thing is like if you're getting tattooed by an experienced piercer, tattoo artist, what have you, they're generally quicker at what they're doing.
They've done it.
So you're actually getting a better value for the amount of time.
And it's going to be better work.
Because if you were doing let's say a sleeve piece that they say is a quarter sleeve, let's say you estimated it 7 hours. If they go to the place where the guy's been tattooing for maybe a year, that's more like 22 hours.
Right.
It's my
experience.
Can be,
yeah.
And then touch-ups and fix-ups. And hopefully he comes in today.
That was the difference in street shops and custom shops like us. It was, when you're standing there in a street shop, there's no set hourly price. There's no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're just kind of, everybody works with every customer that comes in when it's their time up.
Yeah.
So like if it was like if me and Jack and Brent had already done a tattoo and you hadn't done one yet, and we were sitting there, you're up in rotation, so you're next.
Yeah.
So every customer that comes in, you've got to talk to and try to sell a tattoo until one of us get a chance, unless multiple people come in, which was a fair system. But gosh, if you got that dude that didn't want to do nothing and he would talk every customer out of the door, you're sitting there going, dude, 20 people have come in and you haven't done one tattoo and we could have all tattooed them.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's a downside to that for sure. But that's the way it was in a lot of shops, in Chicago especially. I mean, there was 15 or so tattooers working a shift. And it was like that. It was, you know, seniority.
Yep.
It was how long you'd been there overall.
Absolutely.
You got the first, you know, and then it went from there. I've been here 10 years, 8 years, 5 years, 6 years. And then once everybody had a tattoo in their pocket,
Low man with totem pole.
low man, you know, well, I only did a $60 one. You know, you started off your day with a $350 one.
Right.
Then it would go, you know, you'd kind of try to
keep
spread
it as
it
even
out.
as you could.
But yeah, you get that
And that's-
dead fucker in the middle that doesn't feel like
Always
working.
went that way. Or you had the dude that like started off first and he was like just wanted to get the ball rolling, so he's like did a $100 tattoo for $60, and now people are coming in and he's going shit.
I know, right?
Like, whoa, dude.
That
like,
always does it too, because you'll be sitting around like, man, something come in, and then somebody come in and you'd give them like a super sweet price on their end, you know, just so you can do something
to get started.
And once you get started, people just start pouring in the door every time. That's
dude.
like ordering a pizza. Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like
every time you
ordering
get food, people show up.
Boom.
Every time.
We would do that occasionally at the first shop. We'd be, you know, because I think there was only 2 shops in town plus us at the time. There was Sherry and Dan, and then maybe another fly-by-night kind of. But there was hardly any shops in town. But there was hardly anybody getting tattooed back then.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there'd be days we'd come in and we'd sit and play Risk.
Yeah.
For all day sometimes without anybody coming in, like especially in the wintertime, because it's somewhat seasonal.
Which
in
it
Iowa.
always sucked when one of us got busy, because then somebody else would come in, and then by the time you got back to the board,
Yeah.
you'd be like, wait a second, what happened?
We skipped you 15 times.
Yeah.
Or no, whoever was playing for you just sucked.
Yeah, or if it was really slow, I'd tell Erica, order pizza.
Yep.
She'd be like, "You're hungry?" I'm like, "No,
I just want business.
not hungry." But
Do something.
there's a good chance once that pizza gets here, boom, people will show up.
It works.
And oddly enough, it does work.
Yep.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We used to do that. And like I said, the first tattoo kind of like really be willing to work with people and get that. Because once you appease them tattoo gods, you get that machine running.
Right. Start playing the
blood in
song
the water.
of the people, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like this sound just drew them in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
right. Or the smell of the pizza.
Yeah, the
Yes.
sacrifice, you know?
Yes, they pumped it, and it's the waving you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always wanted to have a barter or a barker out front.
Oh, right.
You know, when I worked at a couple shops back in the day, we would have different events and whatnot, but I would cook out on the grill in front of the shop.
Yeah.
You talk about get busy, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I could fill a shop up before first round of hamburgers came off that grill. We were packed.
Yeah. Yeah.
was
I
crazy.
bet, especially going by and
And if you buy like a pack of hot dogs and a pack of buns for like, $10,
nothing back then.
you're
yeah.
giving them away.
Yeah.
To people if they come in and they're hungry, they want
Right.
one or whatever, and you get plenty to eat in the shop, and then
Oh, yeah.
you're just busy. Like it was a win-win. I did it all the time.
There's your barker. Just get a
Yeah.
top hat and a megaphone.
Yeah.
I always teased a couple friends that I was gonna get a tattoo machine outfit and stand them out front, dancing around.
I wanted to have the sandwich board with the bell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. Well, like in the cities in Richmond, when you're downtown, we actually had sandwich boards we'd draw on every day, different designs and specials, whatever. Put them out, and the tattoo artists would hang outside and out the front of the shop, smoke a cigarette, and we would be like barkers. People walk by like, "Hey man, what's up? You looking to get a tattoo today?" Blah 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 blah. Blah. Just everybody that walked by, we would just bullshit with and say something to. If they talked back, cool. If they didn't, cool.
Yeah, it's like being a Sturgis. We do that
exactly.
in Sturgis. Yeah.
Exactly like Sturgeon.
Yeah.
And I learned early on that every conversation I had with somebody, regardless if they were actually going to spend money, if I was educating them a little bit or informing them a little bit or making them feel more comfortable, every one of those would come back
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
bring
true.
somebody.
in some way. So it's like that, it's kind of hard sometimes to keep the balance between the two. But anyway.
Yeah, so if you have any Jeeps or motorcycles
Or airplanes.
or airplanes,
Electric bicycles.
Motorcycles are cool.
right?
Really cool tools.
Right.
Slingshots.
Electric motors.
Yeah, equipment and stuff like that.
Let's see. Car lift. I need a car lift.
Yeah, car lift.
Cherry picker would be good.
Yeah, just no sexual advances.
No
please.
sexual. This
No.
is a funny story though, and I never got to pay him back. As far as I know, he's still alive, so there's still a chance, and I never, ever, ever, ever forget. So if you've got me, you've got it coming. Even if it's been 15, 20 years, I'm still thinking about you. So anyway, I was at a tattoo one time. This rather slender, scantily, dirty clad woman comes in and starts beating around the bush that she wants to trade, bush for some tattoo work, and it turns out that she went into another shop and the owner I know, asking the same thing, and he said, "No, I don't, but I know Jack does over there." Skin Kitchen.
That's funny.
I know, man. I laughed at the same time. I was like, "Oh, that was a good one." I haven't gotten him back yet, but damn,
It used to be fun
He's on the list.
when it wasn't very many tattoo shops and we did stuff like that.
Right.
Like everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
So you would always antagonize or mess with, send
Yeah.
somebody down there like, we're not taking apprentices on, but you know who is?
Yeah.
Like send them that way or send them to Walmart. You got to ask for Reggie. It's always in the home, like where the cloth and the material department is, the craft department. The only dude back there that knows where it's at's Reggie. And they sell tattoo stuff in the back on the shelves. But you got to ask for Reggie.
Oh,
Really? They do
specifically
that
to
at
go.
Walmart? Oh, they have everything at
Yeah,
Walmart.
yeah, they got
You
it.
know
You
that?
can get all this stuff there, and send people. God, we sent so many people there.
That's hilarious.
Oh, it used to be so funny. People from Walmart coming in. Did you send somebody? I'm like, yeah, they're still looking for Reggie, huh? yeah, they're still looking for Reggie. We got no Reggies.
We got
That's the
no
point.
Reggie.
Oh, Reggie.
It'd be funny if you did.
Yeah, because
Then Reggie come out and go, "What?"
he'd be like, what are you talking about?
And then the person would think, he's got to know a special word.
Yeah, I
or
was gonna
Yep.
say, if I
convince
was
him, like,
Reggie,
no,
Yeah, they'd be
I
back
was
like, I found Reggie. What's the secret password?
just step through this door.
Oh man. So you've never ever taken anything in barter ever? You?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of times,
Ooh, look
and
at
I felt like I got screwed in both cases.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
Not in a
Not
fun,
literally.
not in a good
or
way.
There was one guy that did half of a floor,
Hmm.
and then the other one was a video camera, which I did use after that, but
Did it come with a used video cassette in it already?
Yeah.
yeah, I did. And,
did.
I watched it, and it was somebody's home movies, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was hot.
They used to own the video camera.
Probably.
Yeah, so it's like, but like I said, it always came down to this thing where it's like, yeah, I could use one of those, but I could buy a better one.
I don't want it more than the money.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just and it's not something I need right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
with
can
the
see
money, you have the option of anything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And with that barter thing, it's just that item at that time. So, I
Yep.
mean, it's only
You gotta
worth
really
as
want
much
it.
as
Yeah.
what you need at that moment.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it might be kind of like a pawn shop. I've
Yeah.
had this sitting around forever, and I know my tattoo guy loves this stuff.
Yep.
And if it's not doing you any good, and it gets you somewhere on your, your tattoo, then you might.
Yeah.
And depending on
Ridiculous.
what it is, it might work better as a tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, depending on what it is. And like I
True.
said, a lot of times if you've been there and worked with the artist a lot, they'll be like, I really don't need that, but it is cool. So, like, I got a day off coming up on this day. If you want to work something out then, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's
I guess that's true.
not a big deal.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah, it just really kind of depends on the relationship and
Yeah.
what position you're
What the
in.
thing is.
If you're still $200 short on your rent for the month, you're probably way less likely to trade for an RC car or something.
Right.
But
Yeah.
if you're having a fat month and you're in the right mood and somebody dangles something fun in front of you, you
Dude,
might
those
jump
new
on.
gas-powered giant monster trucks.
Bring it on. You bring one of
Yeah.
those.
things
All
are
right.
cool.
You
Yeah.
bring me a miniature gas-powered mini truck or monster truck. You're getting tattooed.
I think
Yeah,
you could
totally.
probably get a suit in this shop if you came here with that.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
We'll talk.
So we
Airplane,
moved
definitely.
on from the construction equipment then.
Oh no! Bring me
yeah,
any
there's that too.
skid loaders, dump trucks, backhoe.
mechanical tools,
Yeah,
and
any
toolboxes, and
gas
equipment.
powered
Yeah.
RC.
Any or electric motors.
Yes.
I love electric motors. So you
all
got
kinds of
one
good stuff.
Yeah, bring it on.
No,
No, oh fuck! What did I do?
Don't forget the magic
like
beans.
every And see, that's a part of the problem is like we are a business. We do have to conduct ourselves as a business.
Yeah.
And if you're getting an excessive amount of that stuff, it's really hard to keep that business.
Yeah,
afloat.
you get
Right. Yeah.
It's a secondary thing.
I remember I've seen signs from back in the day, usually from like older street shop type stuff that will trade for gold.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
silver and stuff.
And they'll have like a little sign saying that.
Price chart and all that. There's one back in the day, I remember, that just thought about this in West Virginia. It's a pawn shop with a tattoo shop in it. It's a pawn shop tattoo shop.
Okay.
And what people would do is if they had something the artist wanted, they'd do that. If not, they could pawn it at the pawn shop, and then the pawn shop would pay the money to
tattooer
them for it, and then they could pay for their tattoo with that if it was in reason.
Weird.
And it was a good idea, and it worked. I think they might still even be there.
Well, so
But-
wouldn't it then be? It would almost be like you've got two pawn shops, and the one pawn shop will pay you in tattoos, and the other will pay you in cash.
Well, it's kind of like when you go and you sell, you go to an antique store and you sell like a collectible to them, and they'll be like, okay, well, we can either give you cash or we can give you store credit.
Similar, but like what it was is usually the tattoo artist didn't see the stuff coming in. It went to the pawn shop first. The tattoo shop was further in the back, and they would hey man, I'm trying to get tattooed, or I want to pawn this or whatever, and the person up front would kind of delegate that.
Pawn shop. Oh, okay. The pawn shop would kind of get first refusal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
if they wanted to pawn it or whatever, they couldn't go back and go, hey man, I got this model airplane. They don't want to give me anything for up front. Do you want to trade for a tattoo? Like that's not how that worked. You went up front and you either like, hey man, I want to get tattooed, but I don't have any money, but I have like this RC car. Can I pawn it to you guys so I can get kind of like store credit kind of tattoo stuff? And the shop would give them X amount of money or towards the tattoo, to the tattooer. And then if you wanted to buy it because you were part of the tattoo pawn shop, just like any pawn shop, after somebody pawns something, it's up for grabs in the back. So like you can get it really cheap from the pawn shop without it going on the
because
shelf.
they don't. The pawn shops
It's
never
like
pay.
it's like a screen for the tattoo shop, just so you don't have to,
Well,
sit there and haggle.
Well, if you didn't
over
have
shit.
cash and you still wanted to get tattooed,
Yeah,
that's handy. I mean, it's almost like having an ATM.
Exactly.
Almost.
Yeah. Let me go look at my car. Maybe I got something in the trunk I forgot about. Be worth $50.
You guys take CDs.
Well, if you brought something in and you were like, okay, this is worth $100 to pawn.
Yeah.
If you want to do store credit, like towards the tattoo shop, I'll give you like $120, $150.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Then the pawn shop pays the tattoo artist
Right.
the amount.
And they could obviously work
That they
for
have for
cash
store
too,
credit.
but
Yeah, exactly.
They had that other.
But
Yeah, exactly.
As
So it
somebody
gave
who
you the option.
has been in the position where I had to pawn something, you never get what they're worth.
Oh God, no.
Oh no.
No, but I mean, that's the thing. Do you want to get tattooed or do you want to keep this RC car?
Well, But that's also the reason you never pay what they ask for in a pawn shop.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think pawn shops.
There you barter.
Yeah, as far as I know,
Or haggle.
that's one of the
You're
businesses
supposed
really
to.
in America anyway.
And I'm bad at it. I go in and give them exactly what they got on a sticker. So I'm like, here you go.
Yeah.
Want this? Give me your
I
idea.
too. I'm
I do that
horrible at
too. I do that too. Because I don't like to haggle.
I don't
and
like to
barter.
haggle.
No.
I don't.
Oh,
I'm no
I've
good
no
at it.
problem with it.
No, but some people it's kind of like a sport to
It's
them.
an art form to
It's like basketball or something. They've got to feel like they kind of got a little bit like they won. Where you've got something I want and you'll take this for it. Okay, I'll trade you.
I actually had a
Exactly.
client that was like that, and I would always, when he'd ask me what the price was, I'd always bump it $5.
So you can haggle down.
And then when I go, oh, it's you, 75.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. And he'd run around and tell people that he had this special discount with me.
Right.
I don't think he ever figured it out. At least he never said anything to me. It was just he just wanted to have that little edge. My dad was like that.
My grandfather never liked
My
that.
dad would go to Kmart. And I'd pick out, you pick out any toy you want to, and I'd pick out the toy I wanted. Then he'd go try to find one that was broken.
Yeah,
and then take it up front. He'd go, how much for this? It's broken.
Blue light special.
Yep.
And then he'd go home. We'd take it. Here's your new toy.
And
it's like, yeah, thanks,
And I don't
Dad.
know if it really works much anymore, but I had this econ teacher that was talking about buying and blah, blah, blah. And he said, ask if they'll sell it cheaper
Yeah.
wherever you are. Target, anywhere. So me and my buddy in high school, we were getting into CB radios, real big. We were all having them in our cars because we didn't have cell phones,
Yeah.
and we'd be able to talk to each other if we were in Des Moines and all that. So we went to the truck stop because that's a lot of times that's about the only place you could find a CB.
Yep.
And all these nice CBs, and they had this really nice one. And called over somebody who worked there. I said, do you know if you can do any better price on these. And she's like, oh, let me go grab the manager guy. Manager guy comes out, and I was like, yeah, can you do any better on that price? And he goes, yeah, I could do this on it. Okay, yeah, that'd be great. I'd take it.
Yeah.
It was really weird.
Yeah.
I was always uncomfortable doing it.
Me too.
I just didn't feel right doing it. But it's great, especially on I guess electronics.
It works.
It works a lot because there's a good markup, stuff like that. And man, back in the day, at least you could do that more than you think.
Well,
I'll
you got
tell
to
you-
keep out in mind any retail place you're going to. Markup is going to be between 2.5 and 3.
Yeah,
They ought
at
to let you
least
barter at the pharmacy. That place you wouldn't feel bad about.
I
Right.
know.
Well,
Screw those people.
and if for people who don't know, for a business like that who has something on the shelf and then they'll sell it to you for a price, it's kind of a unsaid rule that unless you can mark it up 100%, buy it for 10, sell it for 20. Anything less than that is shaky
loss.
ground.
Yeah.
Right.
It's hard to make a
loss.
profit unless you can double it. Now, not every industry is like that, of course, but a lot of shops and stores, you go in and buy a hammer or you buy something like that, at least twice.
Yeah.
Is what they have. So if you get the owner and somebody who's the buyer or controls that part of it, then I guess
Even
like I
if
said,
they knock a couple
it
bucks
can
off, you
work,
won.
but not here.
Yeah.
Not here.
Or the Apple Store.
No.
And,
Or the Apple Store, probably.
and
not.
if it's your teenage kid and you're out buying a stereo, don't sit there and barter with the guy at Best Buy for 25 minutes.
No, just go to Marketplace and buy a used one and put it in there.
He's going to feel like he's dying.
Yeah, this was a flying. I think it was Flying
know
J
personally.
in Des Moines over
That's
there in West
cool.
Des Moines. And so
I remember you used to be able to
does
do that
work.
stuff though. My granddad and all them, they would do it, and I'd always be
used
so
to do it
embarrassed. Like,
I know.
it's
Yeah.
just $100, dude. Just pay
Union
$100. Let's
76.
go.
You used to be able to do that at Union 76 on pretty much everything.
What's Union 76?
Used
A
to be
gas station?
trucks. It was a national truck.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It sounds kind of familiar, but I don't know.
There was one out in Altoona.
They had the big ball on the sign with the
Okay.
sticking
Oh,
out.
all right. Yeah, 76. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you call what 76?
Union.
Union. I guess I didn't
Uniroll
recognize
or
the-
Union or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember those big brown signs.
Yeah, they were cool.
Didn't work for them, obviously.
Well, they've all
yeah.
been. There's
Bought up.
that's a whole part of Americana that's going away.
The lot lizards got unionized. And
Yeah, I mean, you brought the unions in, ruined the whole damn thing. Like now it's, you can only work this side of the parking lot from this time of day to this time of day.
Man, think of all those people. Think of the people that are really into automobile memorabilia, like the gas pumps
yeah.
and signs. Dude, give it 30 years, 20 years. That stuff is just going to go
It already is.
because there won't even be gas stations.
See, the problem is that the people that are nostalgic, that had that nostalgia for like the
Yeah, they'll be dead.
they'll be gone. So the
Yeah.
value will go.
Yeah,
Well,
kind
like
of.
the
Just
money
like
for it.
Victorian Empire furniture that was like, this is $8 million,
Yeah.
and that stuff now goes for like nickels and dimes.
Well, like the Meekum car, we watch the car auction all the time.
Yeah.
And, you'll see like a 1971 Dodge Challenger Hemi Cuda come across there. And, it's all restored like it's factory and everything. I'm like, man, I remember my uncle had one of those. It was so cool. And that thing will sell for $1 million plus. And you're like,
Yeah.
ugh.
And it's the same crap that
geez.
when I was 18, you could go buy for $500,
Yeah.
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 in pretty much the same condition.
Probably just needed plugs.
I remember my
You know?
dad bought a Mustang GT off the showroom floor, the one that they bring in the showroom and polish and everybody touches and crap. He bought a black one with red pinstripes for like $3,000, brand new, and drove it out of the showroom. And I was just like, oh, and I remember him going, that's so goddamn expensive. And I'm like,
Just wait.
dude,
Just wait,
we're
old
paying
man.
$80 grand for the same car, and it's not
See,
worth a crap now.
With the car market, it's exactly the same thing because those cars that were really popular 20 years ago, like the 50s, late 50s stuff, it's starting to go down, and all the baby boomers are way into the muscle cars.
Yep.
So that's what drove the price up.
Right.
The problem, what's going to be interesting is when it gets to the generation that's nostalgic for the 80s, what is going to be valuable?
It's really
some
shocking though.
Eagles.
Crappy Pintos,
Actually, yes.
AMC Pacers. My dad always
Yeah.
said, "Yeah, you gotta buy 5 of those because they're gonna be worth something someday." Be like, no.
And yes, they are.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are.
That's a great.
Daytona.
Like I
That's
was
weird.
watching
That's
Meacham
true.
Auto Auctions the last couple weeks, and there's AMCs that are coming through there that are all nice, going for decent money.
The Eagle four-wheel drive cars.
There was
Benzos?
like big like the big boats, you know, like the old caddies that were like I bought one when I came back from Arizona. I bought one. I needed a cheap car. I bought one of those for literally $500.
And you drove it,
and there was nothing wrong with it.
You got your $500 out.
There was nothing wrong with it.
Some.
It worked.
Yeah.
It was great. And I saw something similar to that go across the auction block at Meekum, and it was over $40,000.
Wow.
Yeah, like the old Ford LTD.
So
I don't want to borrow your car, Mom.
I do think that you're gonna see the newer kind of cars to us that are like that's
So then we can basically Travel's coming back too.
No, don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I'm all right with tribal.
But, well, like if
I don't
you think
hate it.
20 years ago, man, it wasn't even 2020.
Yeah. Well,
Like
actually,
you
it's due because it's been close to 30 years. Travel had it like Tribal. That was the early 90s.
oh, you just keep harping on that thing.
I've only done one tribal piece in years.
Oh, you're missing
Let's
out.
keep it that way.
Huh?
You just jinxed it.
You can have somebody
I
come
don't
in
mind
one,
tribal.
One of those
you can
old
have it.
school.
I don't like armbands specifically.
I mean, it's cool, but it gets so boring for me. It's like, here's a really cool color book. Now make every page black.
Yeah.
Yeah, do
that-
so much cooler
that
stuff.
that part can be kind of boring, but the part I like is the flow and just how
the
it looks
aesthetic.
Now they
on the
want it all
body when
black.
you're done with it. Huh?
Now they want the whole arm black or the whole
Yeah, it's different.
solid black.
Black shows everything, man. Your skin's no
The one I
different.
haven't seen for a while is the cello cutouts on the back of a girl. I always thought that was.
Oh yeah, the little
Cello
bass pedal.
I think that
cutouts
was
over the
replaced
cello
by
with
the
the
with the bows.
sound holes or
Yeah.
what are those?
the
there's-
curly Q.
Yeah, like the violin recess.
And they would have it about where like the natural curvature of their body was.
Tone hole, tone.
I don't know what those are
There's
called.
a name for them. I can't remember it.
The
Make
whole
a
I like
comment.
tone hole.
Tone hole.
Sound
There's a tone hole there over there.
There's a name, but those were
on the giant fiddle.
those did get
Get
popular for a day or two.
Yeah.
I remember I did
Yeah.
a set or two of those, and I think they're
and
awesome.
the bows on the back of the thighs.
Yeah,
and the-
that still stays with us. I see that
a little bit.
commonly.
Not as much.
Those.
Barcodes on the back of the neck.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we
barcodes.
go.
Super
Yeah.
popular.
those were a nightmare.
Those were a nightmare.
Especially in Walmart.
Yeah. Well, dude, people would. That's what they would do is they get you to tattoo them, then they would go down and like see who would
Scan it.
scan and wouldn't
Yeah.
scan. And like one dude I knew, he cut out a Swiffer, the UPS, the barcode off a Swiffer, and he did that same barcode. And everybody asked for a barcode. Didn't matter what they wanted. That's the one he got. And I took mine off like a Playboy magazine or something.
That's a
And
good one.
when they would go down and ring them up, like they would ring theirs up, and they'd be like, "Dude, I got like a $5 Swiffer on me."
Yeah.
And the other would be like, "I'm a Playboy."
I'm
like,
a playboy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was funny.
That's good.
Well, now you can actually. I think there's a couple places online where you can actually enter the information and it does it. But back
Well, you
in
can do the
day,
sound.
Well,
it's supposed to be numbers and letters and nothing else.
Well,
What-
I did the sound one
Yeah,
on
I
that
know,
guy.
the sound
yeah.
one.
what are those called? The squares,
the QR code.
capture,
Ours, yeah.
Yeah.
capture things. I've seen those done as tattoos and work. The one I saw was, of course, a Rick roll.
That's great.
Oh, we'll scan it and see. Never gonna get you, motherfucker.
You know, it'd be great
That's
is get a QR code thing where you just you make the QR code.
Make it
say-
yourself?
Yeah, basically it just says I saved a lot of money by bartering with my tattoo artist.
Yeah. Or with your logo, something like Skin
Yeah.
Kitchen Tattoo. You know, that'd be
Yeah.
All right.
fun.
Yeah, because and you know what it would turn into because they would get more detailed the more information that's on the QR code.
Mhm.
So it'd be like, I want this 20-page novelette on there, and it would be such a just
I think-
disaster.
I
Well, the
think-
sound one I did was cool with that guy. I did the
Yeah.
tattoo on him, and
Yeah, that was neat.
it went to some kind of app, and
Went to an app that it was
his wife-
wife's.
voice, recording of her voice because she had passed on, and every time he would hold his phone up and it would read that tattoo, it would play that message
Right.
and her voice on his phone to him,
Yeah.
which was really neat.
Yeah.
You know, you could do that with the books and stuff instead of doing a whole book on you like you were talking about. But yeah, people do some weird stuff. Like remember the 3D ones where they did the
Yeah.
red
Blue
and
and
green and blue lines and stuff, and you had to wear the glass. Like I couldn't begin to tattoo that.
Yeah.
If
that'd
I
be a
wanted
little-
to, dude.
It didn't work very well.
Well, some of them were really good and worked. Like when you put the glasses on, it was actually 3D. But you got to have your
blacklight tattoos
together.
But that 3D sucked anyway.
Oh yeah,
That blue and red 3D.
yeah. It was nowhere near as good as the new, like
Right. But I guess if it's a tattoo and it looks at all 3D, even if you have to wear glasses, it's kind of neat for a minute.
It was neat, but
Until
It's
that
kinda
red,
novel.
until that red fades out,
Yeah.
and then you just have a blue
And
outline.
you get a headache.
yeah, you got blue, green, no red.
Just throw the drop shadow behind it.
Or you get a sunburn,
Yeah, you can 3D them that way.
and the
No.
red just disappears
Infamous
while you
drop
have the
shadow.
sunburn. I have to stay out of the sun, or my tattoos just
remember
don't
that?
work.
When people were coming in asking for 3D
Yeah,
tattoos,
that's
With
the
still
drop
an ongoing
shadows.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. They still say that.
they still say, yeah.
Do you guys do 3D tattoos? You mean put shadowing under it? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
add
Or do you mean like the red and green and blue? Because I don't do those.
and do the thing that launched the Renaissance perspective.
Perspective, yes. Speaking of 3D tattoos, though, I would have people come in, and I tattooed a guy, and he came in, and he's like, yeah, man, why isn't my tattoo lifted up? And I was like,
Because you didn't scar you.
lifted up? But what do you mean? He's like, well, like my buddy's got a tattoo, man, and you can feel it. Like, it's like raised up. And I go, well, that's because it was done improperly.
Yeah, it's overworked.
It's scar tissue, and traditionally that's bad. And he's like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, really.
Yeah, some people are like, "Oh, it's cool. Can you do mine that way?" I'm like, "No, I can't
So-
do it on purpose."
I didn't get ripped off.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Well, there was. This has been a while ago. I think Ike was still with us. A guy that kept trying to get. He went through everybody in the shop trying to get a Braille tattoo.
Oh God.
That's what they wanted. They just wanted to be, so
Scarred up,
raised.
Scarred up.
Well, then you need a scarification shop.
Yeah, it's like go get a scarification.
Or you
and
could
then
have
pick
pierced
at
and
it
done
and
little-
stuff.
You could have done piercings on him. Left.
Until they got ripped out of his arm.
Well, I mean, that's his problem. You could have done little brace stuff. Hey, man, if you
And
ask
you're
for it,
fired.
even if you're stupid, I'm just saying there's a way to get it done. Just,
See, and that's the other thing is there's always that impulse when somebody tries to talk me down, just go back and I called back to the original subject.
Yeah.
Right.
There is that impulse where hey, fine, let's do this really terribly for you,
Yeah, I've had that.
and let's do a bunch of stuff that doesn't work. Okay,
Yep.
yeah, you're gonna pay me for it. Yeah, sure. And it's a constant thing to fight that.
Well, I've had that conversation with customers. They're like, "Well, this is what I want." I'm like, "Well, it's not going to work." And they're like, "Well, you've got to do what I want you to do." I'm like, "All right, check it out. You don't own me.
Yeah.
I still get to put my opinion in on it,
Yeah.
and it's my name on it as well as yours. So I'm not going to do something that I know for a fact isn't going to work and look bad. I don't care how much money you have. I'm not doing it because I don't want my name on it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
And we have to come to the understanding. But I've heard so many times, shop owners especially the ones that don't tattoo. Hey man, if that's what he wants, and I know it, but it's wrong. I don't care if it's wrong. I mean, that's what they want. They're going to pay for it. Just do it. I'm like, no, I'm not going to just do it.
That's
and
why
they don't,
you
and they
never
don't understand how that's going to affect their business in the future.
Right.
No, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't
They
care.
don't care.
No.
No, they just want it now.
Yeah, and I'm just that's the worst thing you can say to your tattoo artist. Well, I know it might not be right, but that's just what I wanted. I want to do it that way. Like, no, then you're not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Try that at your doctor.
Yeah. And when
Yeah.
I first started tattooing, that was kind of my thinking was, well, I don't have to like it, or it doesn't have to be something that I agree with or whatever. But shortly, I started realizing that every tattoo you do, whether you believe in it or not, you do.
You have to
Represents
live
you.
with it. Still.
People are gonna look at whatever it is, and if they're offended by it or they think it represents something evil, well, then you are too.
Yeah, because you did it.
Because you did it.
participated.
Yeah.
You must believe that.
Well,
So-
we recently had one of those phone calls.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy sucked. But yeah, did you hear about it?
Guy called up,
Heard
asked
about
about a swastika, and he said, and she told, and
Oh yeah,
Jess
yeah,
told me, well, can I talk to someone that's authorized to make that decision?
right.
Yeah, she was like, the shop does, nobody here does them. And he's like, well, I want to talk to an artist because you're not authorized to make that decision or whatever. She's like,
Yes, I am.
yeah. And I've collectively talked to all the artists, and none of them here will do it. So,
Right.
No. And
Yeah.
he just went on and on and on.
Yeah.
Well, I want to talk to somebody else. Well, you can talk to anybody you want, but we're not going to do it. Like,
Right.
none of us are going to do that, man.
Yeah,
Nothing to
that's-
do with hate and all, not a chance.
No.
It's bad juju.
Yeah.
No, man, I don't
What
need that
did
in my
he
life.
say to me?
The
I
Karen
wasn't
of Nazis.
something.
You
I was
weren't
just the
Karen the Nazi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just the receptionist. I wasn't qualified.
Qualified,
I was
yeah.
not
Qualified to tell
make
them
that
qualified.
decision.
Right.
I wonder if he had that. I need to speak to your manager haircut. You know,
Probably.
that would have made it even better.
What do they call
Right.
the male version? Kevin?
Kevin.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Is that it?
The Karen and
Or the
Kevin.
Chad.
Or the Chad.
The chat.
The
The
funniest
Chad.
part of all of that, after he said that, and I'm like, no, we're not going to be doing that today, sir, and I hung up on him.
You should have said, sir, everyone who works here is black.
Yes.
I should've. But
or Jewish.
after I
Or you
hang
should have
up-
said, okay,
Or
I'll get the
Catholic.
owner, and went, Jamal! DaVo!
Or you can do
Shalom,
like
this
we
is
used
Jamal.
to do. You can do like we used to do because, you know, we're all independent contractors. And I've done this a couple times. You've been up front talking to the customer like, well, I want to talk to somebody in charge. And like, okay, hold on. You want to talk to my boss? Wait a minute. And I'll like walk back and then walk back up and be like, all right, cool. What can I help you with? And they're like, I'm like, yeah, I work for myself.
Right.
So like, I'm in charge of me.
Yeah.
What do you want? The answer's still no.
Right.
And they're just like, oh.
Luckily, that stuff is very few and far
That's
between.
the
Yeah,
first
it
time
never
I've
happens
been
hardly
here
anymore.
3 years. That's the first time
Someone's
I've
asked
ever
for the
had that
manager.
happen.
Yeah.
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 But I hung up the phone, and DaVo looks at me. He goes, "I don't think he wanted the Buddhist one."
No.
Nope.
Don't
No,
think he
not
was
the Buddhist.
feeling
No.
No.
Yeah. Could have put them on hold, like, hold on, all right. And they come back like, yes, I'm an artist. What's your question? Do y'all do? No, nobody here will do it. Thank you. Bye. You know.
What do you think,
Anyway,
Dave?
I
Did we
think we're
kill this one?
done. Hey, thanks for listening or watching. I know we kind of got off subject, but I think it was an interesting
That's kinda half the
conversation.
You know, entertainment.
If you liked it, give us a thumbs up, share with other people, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and
Call your mom.
yeah, call your mom because she hasn't heard from you for a minute, and you know it's important. And always answer the phone for grandma.
Always.
Always.
Yep.
But till next time, here's hoping all your piercings and tattoos heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we would all love to see if your tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody.
Be good, guys.